This video's gonna be hard, so trigger warning ahead of time. We're gonna be talking about institutionalization and Indian boarding schools in the United States. For context, my name is Birdie. I am Tlingit. My dad's family is all from Southeast Alaska. My dad is Bob Sam. He does a lot of repatriation work for our tribe. His latest project that he has been working on is called the Lost Alaskans Project. It looks at the history of Morningside, which was in Portland, Oregon, a mental hospital that received funding from the Department of Interior. It was opened during the early 1900s, and they took patients that were sent to them from Alaska that were deemed truly insane, which was a criminal offense at the time. Many Alaska Natives were also sent there. As more of this information is coming to light, the question of land theft is very much at the forefront. However, there is a relationship that I see popping up over and over again. With my previous videos talking about Morningside, I am hearing from descendants, and some of them are sharing their stories with me. And over again, I'm seeing how U.S. Indian boarding schools and Morningside overlap. A pattern that I think can be summed up in one passage that I read from this piece. He's sharing his family history, talking about his dad's 4 siblings. The 4 grew up as family members of the Mercer family in Hoona, and later Anne, George, Edward, and Axel were sent to Chemawa Indian School in Salem, Oregon. 3 of the 4 did well and survived the hell that they experienced at Chemawa Indian School. Axel Jackson did not make it. The word is that Axel was so badly abused at the school that he was admitted to Morningside Hospital, a psychiatric facility in Portland. My father said he never spoke another word about it for 30 years, and Axel passed away there. I'm going to read some of the comments that I have been receiving from folks on my videos about Morningside. My Uncle John was at Morningside. The things that happened to him was so bad. He was never able to speak again. He was deaf mostly, which was the reason he was sent there. But he was taken from our family, our village in Alaska. He did return, thankfully, but like I said, he was so traumatized, it was difficult for him to ever really speak again. My dad said he was completely different, a shell, but going back to the village and being around family and friends, he could heal some. He lived alone. He didn't want to rely on or live with anyone ever again. She passed away from tuberculosis according to her paperwork. She wrote my grandfather at Chemawa, but they took the letters, so he just thought she never wrote. They never had the chance to reconcile that before she passed. The man that had sent her there was her second husband, a white man by the name of George Hinchman, so she was buried as Mrs. George Hinchman. There were many stories in the family that she had either had a miscarriage and was depressed over that, or she had extreme pain related to OBGYN issues that led to them sending her down to Oregon. For those who don't know, Chemawa Native American Boarding School is still open. And their latest scandal is related to some pretty serious funds mismanagement. The Interior Department's Inspector General blamed both school administrators and federal supervisors for poor accounting and oversight. The audit found rampant problems in how Chemawa leaders managed nearly $60,000 in its student enterprise account. It is a bank the school operates to safeguard money that belongs to individual students to spend while at the boarding school, as well as funds belonging to student organizations, donations, and money from student-run businesses, such as the on-campus student store and snack bar. The audit identified the apparent disappearance of money from student accounts, including a discrepancy of $319,000 in Chemawa's accounting records compared to $219,000 in bank statements. The difference of nearly $100,000 between the accounting records and the bank account could indicate poor record-keeping practices, misappropriation, or both. As a part of its audit, the Inspector General took a close look at a $2.2 million sample of Chemawa's spending of government funding over a 2-year period. Auditors labeled more than a quarter of that spending, $593,000, as inappropriate and potentially wasteful. The questionable spending practices occurred in both the operations and maintenance budget using the Bureau of Indian Education money and in purchases using other federal stream involving the U.S. Department of Education funds. Among the questionable expenditures was the acquisition of excavating equipment and maintenance vehicles without demonstrating a need for the nearly $250,000 in purchases. The audit says that if the school had gone through such an analysis, it would have demonstrated that it was unnecessary to purchase excavation equipment. The school also spent more than $330,000 to build a barn without an established program plan, curriculum, instructor, or budget to lay out how the building would be used. Now for this video, I pulled some articles on Chemawa, and I'm gonna link some more than I have time to talk about down below. But the more I dig, the more nervous I get. In 2016, there were unmarked graves found at Chemawa, and I haven't really found a lot in the way of updates on investigations into that. As I was poking around, I saw discussions of Chemawa staff members saying that they observed nepotism and favoritism. And then there's this saying, former staff and students describe Chemawa as a place where concerns over education and treatment of students and staff persist because attempts to expose problems are met with retaliation. Oh no, I lost a light. Former staff and students describe Chemawa, and we're back. Okay, sorry about that. I lost both my light and my camera for a moment, but we're back. So I was talking about how I fell down a rabbit hole about Chemawa at one of the open Indian boarding schools that has quite a past that needs to be investigated meticulously. For those who would like to learn more about Morningside, I have a playlist that discusses some of the history, and I will be updating it as more information becomes publicly available. I also have another playlist where I traveled to Oregon to some grave sites with my dad and participated in a ceremony with my tribe to honor those who were lost to the asylum. So I'm going to wrap up this video, but for folks who are ready to learn more about Morningside, I have playlists and resources that will be linked. I don't know how to end this video. Okay. Bye.